The rowers are ready, the stage is set. It is race day on the Gorge Waterway. Hello and welcome to the prestigious Brown Cup, a row down, a showdown, a throwdown between UBC and UVic in the greatest backdrop of all time. Hello and welcome to our special coverage. My name is Paul Haysom. We are honored to be broadcasting from the traditional territory of the Songhees and Esquimalt nations on CHEK and CHEK Plus, also on YouTube. I'm not a rower. As you can tell, I'm a little bit shorter than the two guys. Yeah, thanks. I'm a footstool here at this point, but thankfully I've got two incredible guys who are going to be my co-pilots for the next couple of hours. They're going to navigate the waters, and in the rowing world, they need no introduction, but I'll give them some. Adam Creek, Ben Rutledge, they were teammates in 2008 when they won a gold medal for Canada at the Olympic Games in the men's 8, but Mr. Adam Creek is an alumni of UVic, and Ben is an alumni, if you couldn't tell, of UBC. The Brown Cup is where it all comes down, and it's an exciting day, isn't it?
Oh, it's a very exciting day. The weather is great. We've got a tide that's going out, so it's going to push the boats, and we've got a solid set of crews who've been training, and they're ready for the premier dueling head race in Canada.
Oh, I love that. It's going to be a showdown. All right, Ben, what do you remember about your Brown Cup? Because you've raced in 4 of them, and you've won 2.
I've won 2 and lost 2, so I've been on both sides of the coin of that, and I know how it feels to sit here at the start of the race. So I've been chatting with a lot of parents as well, and everybody's a little bit nervous today because they don't know what the direction it's going to go, and everyone wants to see that hard work's going to pay off. So we're going to be watching.
You know what? I'm feeling like I'm a little too short here. These guys are both 9 feet tall for context. So let's maybe bring this footstool in. But yeah, you can see some of the warm up happening behind here. This is Morgan. Morgan's going to maybe. There we go.
There you go.
Now we go. Just don't zoom out. Just no zooming out. Okay, there it is. Yeah. Well, that's the story of my life. Let's take a look at the course. It is a 3.5K course, and it is grueling to say the least. It starts with a 1,300-meter grind to the Selkirk Trestle, which is right behind us. You hear the hooting and hollering. It's a whole lot of fun. Then a 600-meter push to the Bay Street Bridge, another 850-meter battle to the Johnson Street Bridge. Then it's an all-out 750-meter sprint to the finish line in the Inner Harbour. And it really is a marathon, not a sprint today. Right.
Well, it's far more aerobic than your traditional straight course at the Olympics, 2K. Even the upcoming Olympics in LA is going to be 1.5K. Right. So it will be a far more of an aerobic challenge, and it's also a coxswain's course. The coxswain will win or lose this race for their crew.
All right, and our first race is coming up at 12:05, so we're just a couple minutes away. But, of course, they started it with the tail of the tape this morning. Both teams, we are going to be starting with our reserve men's race. They come walking out. Of course, a bit of a showdown here. This is the tail of the tape where they decide who gets which lane. I can tell you they did the coin toss. UVic lost, so UBC got to decide which station. They chose the Esquimalt station. And let's hear from our two captains.
In terms of how we prepared for the Brown Cup, it's truly a special race. And so there are a couple of unique things that we have to do, especially in that dual context being against UVic. We have to be able to practice the turns, practice how we're steering against other crews, but it's truly exciting.
I think first is training is just doing longer runs. Of course, the standard distance is 2K, but here it's more 3.5K. So definitely in practice doing just longer runs, getting used to a longer body rhythm. And then second, I think, is just mentality. You can really come from behind in this race, so you don't want to get broken, but you also don't want to get dropped early. So just staying in contact with the boat, staying in rhythm, and just focusing on having a good piece and racing your race.
What really it means to be a Brown Cup is truly something special. It's an incredible course. We're very thankful that the Gorge Narrows Rowing Center is able to host us here. It's such a historical race. Being able to go against UVic, being able to live, being a part of that legacy is something that I'm excited for every single day.
It's awesome. I know in the fall we do our national championships where we race schools from Ontario and around Canada, but I think a lot of people, alumni and current athletes will say that this is just such a grudge race, 1v1 against our rivals UBC. I know they've had the edge the past few years, but I think it's always a great chance to try and take on, to be honest, the best team in the country. and to go toe-to-toe with them.
We can't be thinking back on last year. We have to be able to bring our A game every single day. UVic are always able to consistently put out really, really fast boats, and it's a great, awesome, competitive rivalry. So we're really, really excited for this year in terms of how the race is going to go. But it's a whole new day. We'll see what happens.
A whole new day indeed. Yes. Hello and welcome to our special coverage of the Brown Cup. Of course, we have 4 races to show you. We're going to start with the men's reserve, then women's reserve, then it's the men's varsity and the women's varsity, and it's going to be a good battle. Adam Creek, Ben Rutledge along for the ride, and we are underway from the start line at Gorge Point Beach. And this first step of this race, it's 3.5K, very important, isn't it?
It's where you set the rhythm and pace of the rowing race. When they get off the start line, you get an advantage if you can get a slight edge. We have the Esquimalt side and the Victoria side of the course, and the Esquimalt side has the advantage off the start, but the Victoria side will have the advantage going into the finish.
It looked like UVic had the early lead there in the Victoria side as they took off to the first couple strokes. So probably a challenging position for UBC to come back from, especially if they've got the advantage under that first corner.
Yeah, we're going to try and cut back to that race coverage. We can see lots of UBC fans painting. Is this what you wanted to show up today wearing, Ben?
Well, I didn't know if that was allowed on live TV, but apparently it is. So maybe we'll get into that in the second half.
All right,
just
take off your sweater, Ben. Take off your sweater.
UBC looking in a nice rhythm. Need to start to pull back maybe a little bit, see where they are lining up, but we've got a focus at Coxswain, Edward. What I've heard earlier is that he doesn't even need a mic. He's actually loud enough to be able to speak without it, so it looks like he's got a bit of work to do. Looks about probably half boat length behind. He's making a call to the umpire. Maybe he thinks UVic might be encroaching on his space, which is and he's rowing in their puddles, and that's a tricky position to start the race in. So.
Yeah, so that's Edward Lalonde, his 4th year in dietetics and 3rd Brown Cup. But we're talking about the Cox, Mia Bergen from UVic, and also putting in a good race. You can see on that top right of your screen there, that is the time for the race, and there's some nice shots showing everyone's face and already digging deep, aren't they? Yeah,
you can see that this is around 90 seconds into the race, and that's when the aerobic system really kicks in, and this is when the athletes will really start to feel the pain. Lactic acid will be burning up, and the goal for the rest of the race is to really ride that edge between pushing hard to maximize the speed of the boat, but not pushing so hard that your body feels like it will get exhausted and burn up.
And it's a pretty tight battle so far. They're staying quite close to each other. And you and I had an interesting conversation about, rowing is unique in the fact that if you're leading, you can keep an eye on the crew that's behind you comparatively to other sports where if you're leading, they can see where you're at. So where is that mindset? How do you want to be in front, even just by a little amount early into a race?
Absolutely, especially in a 2-boat race, because if you're not first, you're last. And that mentality, that mentality,
Ricky Bobby over here, I love it.
That mentality is really hard to overcome. But it looks like UBC is starting to edge back a little bit. Look to be about half boat length behind. So UVic, smart play, get out in front and put the pressure on, because UBC does have the advantage here.
Yeah, they do have
you want to get rid of that as soon as you can.
A slight advantage, and there you can see them coming over the Selkirk trestle, and I was seeing a line with people. They're cheering. They're letting them know who they're cheering for. So it's 1,300 meters. We can hear behind us now, 1,300 meters to that Selkirk trestle. Now it's a 600-meter dash, essentially, to the Bay Street Bridge. How much do you take into these sort of markers along the route, and do you think of those as you're going?
Well, in a 2-boat race, you're wanting to get to each marker first, and it's a mental game. It's a strategy every chance you can get to put a feather in the cap. And if UBC's smart here, they're going to want to push UVic out wide. Looks like they're taking an inside corner. That's that's an okay move too. But when you've got the advantage on the inside and you're level, you usually want to push them a bit wide. But it looks like they're coming level, and that advantage is coming through for them. UBC back in this race.
Oh, it is a very, very tight race here. We are just 3 minutes into this race. Again, they're right now doing their 600 meters to the Bay Street Bridge. Another marker in total, a 3.5K race, the first of 4 on the day. Adam, what are you seeing here? What's jumping out to you so far?
Well, one of the stories of this is the current. It is an ebbing tide, so the tide's pushing out. And it's interesting as well, the curve of the course. UBC had the advantage around that first curve, just past the trestle, and UVic will have the advantage on the last dog leg once they get through the Johnson Street Bridge. So even though they're down right now, UVic, if they can hold on and maintain good contact within the boat in the lead, they will have a good chance to take that cut and get a lead pushing into the final dog leg.
You can see UVic here, they're fighting hard, some struggle, a little bit of strain on the face, but hopefully the blade work stays nice and tight, and UBC is going to be looking at that blade work. If they see tight blade work on UVic's side, they might have to be thinking they might be able to come back, but if UVic blade work isn't as strong and blades are coming in and out at different times, UBC might be getting a mental advantage here.
Yeah, they seem to be it's a very, very tight race still, and this is a tight turn because it's not a straight line like you're used to, but they seem to be getting quite close together here.
Yeah, we might have a clash. And what happens when you have a clash here, usually the rowers start looking inwards, and it can actually exacerbate it because you stop pulling, and it happens sooner. So athletes have to keep focused in their boat, listen to their coxswain, stay straight, and hopefully the UVic coxswain, if they're being strategic, are going to try and push UBC wide here.
I believe I saw the UBC coxswain again throw up a hand, which is signaling to the umpire that she thought potentially that was a line that was crossed, or...
Well, the boat in the lead has the advantage. So the boat in the lead can set the course, and so if as long as you're not pushing someone into a dangerous object in the waterway, you can have a penalty assigned against you if you clash into the boat.
Okay,
Adam, what do you think? Do you think it's worth sprinting here to get to this corner first?
Well, I think it's worth sprinting in both boats, and I don't know the strategy because I haven't talked with the coxswains, leading into it. Right now, they're in the most painful part of the race, where it's far enough in where the athletes are starting to feel that blackness and that darkness, but it's not close enough where the hope of the finish has shown up. But we're seeing UBC take that lead right now, and it looks like they're getting a solid lead. And if UBC keeps moving like this, then UVic is going to have some serious work to take back on that final dog leg.
The Bay Street Bridge, it was 2.8 seconds. That was the split. We'll see another split time coming out of the Johnson Street Bridge. But you talk about seeing that dark moment of digging deep. What's burning here? Is it arms, legs? Is it head? Is it a little bit of everything?
All of the above. And part of the goal is to rise above the physical pain. In a lot of different sports, you have pain inflicted upon you by your opposition. In the sport of rowing, you're inflicting this pain on yourself, and you're trying to inflict as much pain as you can in unison with your crew, with the goal in mind, keeping the goal in mind of the race, of your race objective.
Yeah, so UBC, they won 3 of the 4 races last year. UVic has the all-time leading record when it comes to Brown Cup and Campbell Dowd Cups, but right now UBC seems to be dominating this first men's reserve race, and it seems like they're pulling away a little bit here, Ben.
Yeah, that last corner, UBC really seemed to step on, and UVic looks like they probably took that corner a little wide. If you're not within a foot of UBC's blades, you're losing a foot of stroke almost in that corner, and you really have to pay attention there, and you can really demotivate your crew from that staying tight. So they're going to have to stay strong. There's still UVic has an advantage coming up. This race isn't over. No. We've seen that in last year's women's reserve race. UVic was behind, and then in the last corner ended up coming ahead. So viewers might look at this and go, it's not fair. It's like, well, this is a very fair course, and all the rowers I've chatted to this morning are saying, you know what, the best crew's going to win today. So they know that this course has been designed, and there's a gold line, and everybody's trying to stay on it and tight to it and push their other team and take their own advantages, but this isn't over till it's over.
It's not. We are down to the final stretch, though, 750 meters. UBC does have the lead right now, but you can see they are pushing to the finish line, and you can see a change in the water as well. We're getting into some pretty choppy waters here, Adam.
Yeah, as the water gets rougher, the boat rocks back and forth, and it's harder for the athletes to actually grab onto it and lever past it. There's more potentials for the blade blades to get caught in the water and for the rowers to catch a crab. And if you catch a crab, that can stop the boat and that can end the race for everyone in the crew.
Looks like we've got UBC encroaching onto UVic, and there are rules of racing. If you do have clear water, you are allowed to make a maneuver over, but if you don't have all the full clear water, then the umpires can have control, and you need to listen to the umpires.
What an iconic shot there, as we can see the Inner Harbour, downtown Victoria, and the Clipper. Go ahead.
Well, and there is a strategy. If you do have the lead, the coxswain wants to inch over, because you can actually give more wake to the boat who's behind you and slow them down even more and make it harder for the boat to charge back at you. So you do, as the coxswain, want to push the rules and push the limits if you can, and send the wake to the boat in the back. I did that to Ben a lot the first couple times I raced the Brown Cup.
Well, I never got to beat Adam in a Brown Cup, but I did get to inch out in front of you at times. But here we go. UBC is looking like they're going to continue to, they look a little calmer. If I'm evaluating the crews, UBC's holding onto their stroke a little bit. The timing of the blades is a little bit tighter. At the end of the race, when you're out in front, that's kind of the natural benefit of getting out in front. So looks like UBC's going to come to the finish line, and here we go.
Right at the buoys, and you'll see the celebration right there. UBC takes the first race. And wow, what a race it was. UVic came out very, very strong, but UBC holds on to that top spot. Your thoughts on the race, guys? That was a good dogfight there.
I give it to UVic, right? To get off strong like that and get out ahead. They did everything they needed to do, and UBC obviously just had a race plan and they stuck to it, and eventually knew their advantage was coming and took advantage of that first corner at the Trestle Bridge there.
Yeah, UBC gets to claim themselves as the Campbell Dowd champions. This race named after two stalwarts in the sport of rowing, Howard Campbell and Joe Dowd, who actually founded this race back in 1992. Imagined it in 91, first race in 92, brought in the women in 93, and the rest is history.
Yeah, history indeed, and history will say that in 2026, the Campbell Dowd Cup on the men's side went to UBC. What's that feeling like here at the finish line? You've got to be tired, exuberant. You're feeling a lot of emotions at this time, I can imagine.
So much could be going through everyone's mind, but I think for these guys, it's the end of the season for them. And in the Canadian season, it's a super special race in Canada for rowers. And out east, they're still covered in ice. So the advantage of us being west coast of Canada and be able to have a premier event with athletes who have all competed even at higher levels. Like, these are national team athletes that are also at university level. So this is a high level event, and we've got parents and have flown across the country to be here. I've been meeting people from out east in Halifax to come out. So these guys are going to be celebrating with their families, and there's a lot of emotion and happiness going to be going on.
Good to see. Yeah.
Well, and it continues. The reserve race is a flash forward to the varsity race in future years, and a lot of these athletes, they'll take some time to celebrate, enjoy the victory, but think about how they're going to train this summer, how they're going to improve their bodies, how they're going to improve their speed so that they can come back a little bit stronger next year and achieve more of their athletic dreams.
What a way to end your season for UBC. They take the win, 1 of 4 so far going to UBC. Coming up next, the women's reserve race after a short commercial. Stay with us.
The Government of Canada is bringing down your costs so you can get ahead. We're helping you with an income tax cut, access to dental care, affordable childcare, the new Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit, and tax savings on your first home. Learn about these and other ways to help you get ahead at canada.ca/gettingahead.
This weekend, don't miss the Brick's huge semi-annual sale. Get up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, recliners, and more.
Balderson aged cheddar's unforgettable taste and sharp flavor takes time. Some call it art. We agree. It's a true masterpiece of patience and the finest craftsmanship. Balderson, great things take time.
With Lotto 649's 2 jackpots, what possible could you find? Play the growing gold ball jackpot of $18 million, plus the classic jackpot of $5 million.
Still waiting to see the doctor? End the waiting game. Felix connects you with a doctor online so you can get a treatment plan that's right for you. Get started today at felix.ca. Felix, we'll see you now.
When you get together with friends and family, remember to ride, reduce impaired driving everywhere. Because ride starts with you. It starts with a designated driver, and in the kitchen when you offer guests non-alcoholic drinks, when you call a friend to come and pick you up, and at the corner when you catch the last bus, in the driveway with a simple "keys please," or in the living room when you decide to stay overnight. However you ride, thanks for doing your part to keep our roads safe. A message from Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
Here at CHEK, we're not always stuck behind a desk.
We like to join the party. How much do you love getting to live right here?
We connect to the community.
We make sure everyone's included, no matter where you are.
So why do we do all this?
Because we live here and we love this place. Hello and welcome back to special coverage of the prestigious Brown Cup Regatta right here on CHEK and CHEK Plus. My name is Paul Haysom along with Adam Creek and Ben Rutledge. We just saw UBC win the first race of the day, the men's reserve race. Coming up next, we have the women's reserve race. And yes, they are just as ready to go. They are all pumped up. And it is going to come down right to the wire. So we do have the tail of the tape from that. Again, they did the coin toss this morning, had to figure out which lane, who goes where, what sees what. I can tell you that UVic did win this coin toss, and they chose to go down the Victoria side. But guys, as you're walking out there, you mentioned sort of the culmination of the end of the season. There's got to have some nerves here.
Well, you're face-to-face with your competitors, and, well, as I prove, that you're competitors, but you're also very collegial, and you become friends for life. So these are not just competitors. These are people that you're going to interact with over years and years in the future, whether these athletes recognize it or not. So they, here we see the toss happening, and some parents had asked me, why do they call this the tail of the tape? In the past we've measured the heights of the athletes, and we were talking about bringing that back. How tall are the athletes? What is their wingspan?
Yeah.
Measure from their hips to their feet. It would be nice to actually turn this tail of the tape into what it was actually meant to be. I'd love to see that in future Brown Cups.
All right, let's hear from the captains ahead of the women's reserve race.
It makes it so unique because we're the first program in Canada to implement this sort of dual race with UVic every year. And it's really fun being on the West Coast and getting to come out and race side by side. It's so much more intense. I spend so much time looking out and in, and it's really exciting for the opportunity to race side by side like that over 3.5K.
To me, the winning is one thing, but being able to row under Johnson Street Bridge and see all of the fans, and I have family coming out to watch. That, I think, is probably the most special, I'd say.
From Bay to the Johnson Street, it's pretty quiet. You're very internal. The only other thing you can hear is maybe the other boat. Hopefully not. And then coming through the Johnson Street Bridge, it's a really big change. But I think it's important for us to remember that they're cheering for us, and we really, I think, harness that energy. It's a net positive effect on the crew for sure.
Actually quite funny. Some of my two really good friends are in the UBC boat, and we're all laughing and hugging before the race. I saw them today, gave them big hugs. But race day, you just act like you don't know each other.
Last year was a pretty gutting race after having been in it for sure. But it was a good race. And I think this year there's a lot of fresh faces in the reserve. We have 7 new people to the course, which is really exciting. And I think they're a very tenacious crew. They have a lot of fire in them, and they're really excited to go. So I have faith that they can lay it down, and they've got a lot of grit in them.
Oh, Oh, yeah, that's what it's all about. Friends off the course, but once we're in it, we are in it, and we're battling.
Yeah, frenemies.
Frenemies.
Forever.
Well, it sounds like I was chatting with the UBC team earlier today, and they've got something to prove. They've got a motto, and last year they lost in the last 250 meters of this race.
That's right.
And they're looking to come back and do this, and they've got a unique crew. They've got their lightweight women's 4 from the Canadian University Championships is in this boat. So we say reserve, but these are top athletes.
These are incredible athletes.
And
yes.
they've fought hard to get into this boat, and they've got a really deep program. So to be able to show up here and have something to prove, there is grit. Anyways, great crew and excitement on the UBC part.
Yeah, we're excited to see the women who are from UVic who are coming back as the reserve champions in the Campbell Dowd Cup, and they did have that surge from behind, which was a great race last time and shows the advantage of the dog leg if you hold on to it. We've got some great athletes in the crew, including a first-year athlete, Elise Jobbing, who'll stroke the boat. She came from the Vancouver Rowing Club.
That's right.
We also have a lot of veterans and first-time competitors who will be in this, with 4 athletes who are actually racing in the Brown Cup for the first time. The head coach of the reserve, Nick Angelio, has spent the past 4 years working with the junior varsity crew and really has worked hard to lead the program to higher heights this season.
And you can see they're just waiting there at the start line. They are going to get going momentarily. They start there at Gorge Point Beach at the Narrows there, and it certainly is narrow. It's a tight start line, and you really want to get out to that good start, especially if you're UVic, and make sure you don't have to pull back and try and rein in UBC like they did last year.
Well, exactly, and we've got the UVic team here who have chose the Victoria side. So,
They have.
and looks like they've started.
And
so
they're underway.
Looks like UVic has got an early lead, and it's sometimes tough off the start. The angle may be a little confusing, so we won't get too into it yet, but both crews looking very focused, and this is the UBC team. They've got something to prove, so let's see what they can do.
Yeah, Blade's looking a little messy on the UBC side. UVic's looking a bit cleaner, which is a good indicator of the collection and the nerves in the crew. So it doesn't look good for UBC just off the start, and we'll see if they can pull it back together and find that relaxation, that power rhythm, that power energy through the middle part of the race.
And I'm interested, when you're in a race of this length, how long would it take you to find that rhythm and to find that pocket and to get into that rhythm as a team?
Usually in some of the good crews, you want to try to get it within the first 15 strokes.
Wow.
If you start cycling too fast for too long, you don't get into your rhythm, and it's really hard to get it. And when you've got a 3.5 kilometer race, that rhythm is so important.
You're exerting a lot of energy at the beginning, I assume.
You
right?
want to get out in front, but at the same time, don't want to sacrifice the rhythm. So much time is spent figuring that out, and looks like UVic has found a way to do that so far. Now, hopefully, I don't know if the UBC men have been able to relay back to the UBC women that's okay. There's still room, and you've got a corner up ahead that you might be able to move through. So these girls are going to stay focused. They're still in the boat here. You can see they're not looking around. A little look around sometimes. It's hard not to do that. So
yes, well, I'm sure, right?
Well, you want to keep your eyes on the boat and be sensing the crew. So if you want to be attuned to how the rowers are rowing around you, so that the blades come in together, they exit together, you're swinging together, you're powering through the stroke together. And this is the ultimate team sport: legs in unison, backs in unison, blades in unison. And it's really magical when you see athletes at this level really come together.
Yeah, they really are. And this is the longest stretch of this race, at least when we're thinking of those markers along the way. 1,300 meters here to the Selkirk Trestle, and it does get tight. What are you seeing as far as those strokes? Are you seeing a little too much splash in some of those there on that side?
Yeah, well, it looks like the UBC crew, the blade work it's okay, but they aren't exactly on time, and that can start adding up over time. If you've got enough power, you can overcome that. But if you're a lightweight crew, you need to be really tight with that blade work, and looks like UVic's got the upper hand so far.
Yeah, although when we looked at that aerial shot, it looked like UBC is finding more of that matchup, more of that rhythm, more of that relaxed power rhythm in the middle. And so that's showing better for them than off the start. But as you can see, UVic still has the lead, and they have the lead going into the trestle. And if they can get a strong lead and get open water, then they can really exert dominance.
A vital moment here for UBC. They need to stay within contact. that bow seat is going to be able to feel stroke seat on UVic's side, and they're going to be able to pass that energy down. As soon as that, call it elastic, gets broken between the bow and the stern of each other crews, if there's some distance there, there's this unfortunate feeling within the whole crew that just the wake of the other boat starts to disappear. The motivation starts to disappear, but their coxswain, Isabel, has to keep them on track. They've got their advantage coming up here within probably 20 strokes. So they've got to stay strong, and their advantage is coming up. And it looks like they're keeping in contact. This is so important.
They've made a bit of ground there, it seems like. And I know you can't win the race in the first 1,300 meters, but you can potentially lose it. And this first marker at the Selkirk Trestle is going to be a good barometer for us of just how different they are right now and how much ahead. But it's almost a boat length. It's looking tight to a boat length at this point.
Yeah, well, and it's tight going through the trestle. There's barely enough room for both eights to get blade to blade, tip to tip. So the coxswains really have to steer a deft course, and the rowers really have to trust the course that their coxswain is steering.
You can see our incredible shots there. Looking from behind, we have Dan Batchelor working the drone there. We've got 6 cameras along the course, so we're going to have this covered the whole way down these 3.5K course, but look, you can see them on there hooting and hollering, and it looks like they got a pretty good gap there as UVic crosses the first marker first.
Yeah, it looks like UVic coasting on the current through that center of the trestle bridge. And there's, I think there's advantage of the turns on the Esquimalt side, and with the current still pushing out, there might be a slight advantage if you get into the middle of the Gorge River of the current pushing out, especially through this section of the race.
Yeah, it looks like UBC's cut as tight corners as they could. Looks like there's a buoy that they kept right along the buoy of the side of the boat, so they're going to try and make this turn here hard. Now, most often you're going to try and make a push. We're going to see if they're going to empty their tank now, because it might be do or die for UBC right here.
Making this turn, yeah.
In the history, we used to have this, we used to knife the corner and sometimes go on the inside of that green buoy.
Wow.
That move has been banned now because of boats, the risk of boats getting damaged. If you have a $78,000 boat with its fin ripped off, then, then that's not a good
I can imagine.
story.
I'm interested in what I love the shot of the rowers' faces here. You can see just how hard they are digging deep at this point. We are 5.5 minutes into the race at this point. Is your cox actually looking at the faces of your rowers and talking to them and seeing, okay, it might not be the time to push yet, but I know I can still get something out of them here?
Well, a good coxswain understands the motivation of each of their crew members. Some crew members, you yell their name and they instantly pull harder and raise the construct of the boat. There's certain words that a coxswain can use. They'll go, hup-cha, hup-cha, or just use different audibles to keep the crew in pace. There will be a race plan, certain points in time like when you push and when you go. Yeah,
I was going to say, UBC is getting contact again, and this is an incredible piece. And I was just going to add as well, what really works well with the crew is working well together. And obviously it makes sense, everybody's doing the same thing, but sometimes the biggest struggle in this group is actually not identifying what each athlete's going to do, but get each athlete to do the same thing at the same time. It doesn't matter almost what that is, but if everybody commits to one thing, the boat's going to lift up and people are going to feel motivated. So sometimes you cycle through different calls, but if it's your best call and everybody responds, then you keep doing it. And that's what it looks. Oh, we've got the umpire making a call. So looks like UVic's been pushed UBC a little wide.
Oh, that line looking a little tight there. Yeah.
Yeah.
As we come under here, underneath the Bay Street Bridge.
But we've got contact, and this is so important for UBC right now to stay in touch. If they've been tagging to the UBC guys, they took a big lead in this other strong corner. So when you've got contact, the Isabel and the UBC Cox could be pushing UVic wide here if it was smart. She would actually try and take this corner wide and make sure that UVic doesn't steer into them, because they've got the line that they can keep. So we'll see what happens here, and hopefully UVic goes wide for the UBC crew.
You're watching live coverage. This is the Women's Reserve Race. This is Brown Cup coverage. This is the Campbell Dowd Cup. I'm Paul Haysom, along with Adam Creek and Ben Rutledge. And yeah, we are getting down to the wire here for the Women's Reserve Race. It looks like they're maybe getting a little bit tighter there. It looks like UBC is gaining, because it almost at one point seemed like UVic was a full boat length ahead.
Yeah, when we've got this overlap, we're almost at
Oh,
half
wow.
a boat
Okay,
length
we're
now.
right tight. I was
and
seeing
and
that,
they're
yeah.
they're going into some wake here for some other crews. This is a unique feature of this race is that it's an open waterway, and sponsored by RailMax, and we've got a fabulous venue for everyone to see. But you can see this is not just an Olympic course that's completely shut down. They have to deal with wake from other boats in the in the place here. So we're going to see if UVic stays wide, and this is where UBC really put in the last race into UVic, and we need to get maybe a shot, maybe a drone shot would be amazing from up above here, just kind of capture this moment, because this is going to be might be the moment where we figure out who's going to end up winning this race.
Oh, wow. Okay, you can see how neck and neck they are. That is from our drone shot. Dan Batchelor working that one as they start coming towards the Johnson Street Bridge. Iconic shots from there. It almost looks like UBC's kind of taking a bit of a lead here. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, they're nosing out in front, and you can see they've got a bit more of a relaxed power in their crew rhythm. There's a bit more observable effort in the UVic crew. So I'm not sure, because I'm not familiar with these crews, but usually externally that means that there's a bit better rhythm in the crew that has some relaxed power on their faces.
And it looks like the UVic crew might have a line that they're looking for in that final corner. They knew last year that they won the race in the final corner.
That's right.
They might be aiming for that, but the risk is that your UBC's on the inside and moving ahead, and that motivation can really detract.
Right. You don't want them to get too far ahead, because then you know at that point they're impossible to pull in, as we are just under the 9:30 mark here, and they are getting underneath the Johnson Street Bridge. You can see in their faces just how hard they're pulling there.
Well, and as they go by United Engineering, who's part of RailMax, the RailMax, the sponsor, is all about working folk, and rowing is all about working hard. You have to work hard as an athlete, you have to train hard, you have to take care of your equipment, and we're so grateful for a company like RailMax that supports working people, who supports some of the hardest working athletes here on this Gorge Waterway.
Yes, and we'll be talking to the COO of RailMax after this race, but right now we are down to the wire. That split very, very tight right now. So 258 to 301, that's what I'm seeing, and it is right down to the wire here as we make our final 750-meter push to the finish line.
Yeah, and the umpires have done a great job keeping these crews apart now, and maybe they've almost wished them out and get them a little closer together, but speaking with the umpires earlier today, they love umpiring this race. This is a very unique race in Canada, across the world as well, and they want to just have a great, safe, and honorable race between the crews, and they've done a great job, especially with some of the overlap here.
That's quite an iconic shot there as the seaplane coming in.
Well, one more thing about umpiring, there was a call out. So if I know there's about 1,000 people who have rowed this Brown Cup race who are out there, and if any are watching, we are looking for umpires to join Rowing Canada to get certified, because we don't have any umpires right now certified who have actually rowed the Brown Cup race. So if anyone's listening, thinking about becoming an umpire, these sports do not exist without volunteers. They do not exist without, and you're seeing the wake from that float plane impacting both the crews. Sorry.
And this is coming to a great tradition here. Both crews. This is what
look
happened
at
last
that
year.
wave. This is
UBC was leading last
smashing.
year just like this, and then UVic came out and won.
And they're pushing again here. We're down to the final strokes here. There's another flag by the umpire just telling them to fix the line there on the UBC side as UVic is making this push. They're going to round that last corner, and it is all out or nothing.
All those athletes should be watching their blades, and you have to work really hard if your blade is clashing, because you sometimes want to back off, and it makes it worse.
It's now or nothing. It's go, go, go. The coxswain will be calling, push, push, push. This is so wire to the wire.
We are right down to the wire here. It's looking like UVic is making a bit of a comeback. Can't see on this vantage point. It is going to come right down.
UVic was inches away from that boat as they went by.
Yeah, they almost owned that boat as
Jimmy
well.
Pattison would be so upset. Is that his boat? I don't know.
It looks like UVic's pulling away just like they did last year as they push, push, push to the finish line here, guys.
Oh, my goodness. What a race. What a race.
And they're looking there. I think they're still
Both
kind of
crews.
unsure at this point.
They don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Those buoys can move around as well in the current, and we don't have a. Do we have a?
The athletes
an
are
official
feeling
result
it.
yet?
They're feeling in their lungs. They're feeling in their legs. They've had extended effort. This race was so close to the end, and this is why we love to see athletes do work like this.
Okay, there we are. It looks like UVic
picked up the win. Is that what I'm seeing there?
0.3 of a second.
By 0.3 of a second. That is wild. So I believe the UVic crew has gone back-to-back in the women's reserve race, but what a race that was. You can't get much closer than that, guys.
Well, and the leads were training back and forth, and as an athlete, this is going to feel so painful for the UBC women because they raced so honorably, and the women's crew will feel great because they executed their strategy and they came out on top. This is sport, and this is what makes it so magical.
But what a race that was. Ben, your final thoughts on this second race of the day?
Both crews, just an amazing effort on both sides to both be down, to both come back, and to have that close of a race at the end of the day. You know what, win or lose, you're going to remember that for the rest of your life, and that's what this race is for these athletes. This is a race to remember and a tradition to come back, share these experiences with your family when you're 20 years down the road, and we've now got 1,000 athletes that have done Brown Cup. Now let's look closely here.
So that is right at the finish line. My goodness. And again, we had a bit of a side vantage point there, but it was right down.
Yeah, and UBC pushing UVic as close as they could. They stuck as close as they could to not have that advantage being taken over. But, oh my, hats off to UVic and sticking with it.
Well, thanks for sticking with us as well. So we are 1-1 so far. UBC winning the first race, UVic winning the second race. Coming up, we've got the men's and women's Brown Cup races. You are watching coverage on CHEK.
Toyota takes you there. Don't miss out. Red Tag Days are on now at your local Toyota dealer.
Life is filled with rewarding stages. Now, your banking is too. The new CIBC Smart Account. Get up to $850.
Two hockey heroes, please. Oh, I meant the burgers.
Try the Hockey Hero Burger today.
Van Al Windows has been manufacturing and installing custom-made windows and patio doors that have stood the test of time since 1978. By manufacturing locally right here in this factory in Victoria, you have the choice to pick them up, be delivered, or installation. We also offer double and triple pane products so you can choose more energy-efficient windows and reduce your carbon footprint. The choice is yours. Made with pride on the island for the island.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Jarris with Newport Realty, a brokerage that's locally owned and operated just like CHEK. Over the past 10 years, advertising with CHEK has allowed me to reach a large audience and grow my real estate business. The best reward is when people recognize me from my commercials, the trend segments with Amy, and sponsorship of local charities and events on CHEK. Although real estate is my passion, it's people that are my priority.
Wow, 5 years of being welcomed into your community.
Some people were extra welcome.
5 years of showing off everything local.
Did you ever pay for that, by the way? It's all right-hand turns? All left. All left. Glad we had this talk.
We just wanted to give businesses a boost and bring smiles during a tough time.
You want to get a photo with the upside guy?
No, not really.
Some people smile.
Now, more than ever, you can count on us to always find the upside.
The Upside is brought to you by IBEW Local 230.
Welcome back to special coverage of the prestigious Brown Cup Regatta presented by Ralmax, and I'm joined now by the COO of Ralmax, Mr. Gary Bartlett. Gary, let's talk about the first two races before we jump into Ralmax. That was pretty fun to watch.
Well, that was so exciting. My God, edge of your seat right to the end. Whoa, something else.
This is cool. Okay, I'm going to ask you why you wanted to get involved in the Brown Cup coming up in a little bit, but right now I just want to know, what is Ralmax?
Well, Ralmax is a privately held group of companies that operate predominantly around this working harbor. So we're a very active company. You'll see harbor ferries as part of our group. You'll see Point Hope, UEL, Trios just around the corner, ready mix business. We're very active in this marketplace. So we work around the harbor. We watch these guys out here rowing all the time. They work in the harbor. So we get along really well.
You do get along really well. And what I like to see is actually, if you're watching the race, keep an eye out because you'll actually see part of the Ralmax barge there down the final stretch. Why is it so important to the well-being of the city, what your group of companies is doing?
Well, we like to feel that we're a part of this community, and this is really exciting activity. And we work in this harbor. The harbor is a key piece of the city. So things that bring people down to see the harbor are really just good things to support.
Yeah, and you think we can keep bumping up this event? I mean, this is a world-class event. Talking to Adam Creek, he's saying this is the premier rowing race in Canada, right?
Well, I think it deserves to have people all the way up and down the harbor cheering these people on. They work hard for this, and it's really exciting to watch.
I love it. Okay, well, I want to talk about your open house because you got an open house coming up. It is June 21st, Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Tell me a little bit about the open house and why that's important as well.
Yeah, so again, it's a once a year opportunity for people to come down to Point Hope. And what we do is we take all of our equipment and what we do as a business and we showcase it. And I tell you, all these little kids get there. It's a chance to climb up in a ready mix truck. It's a chance to actually see what people do. We use it to recruit. We find people that are interested in shipyards. They think about a career in the trades, and it's a chance to talk to people who are in the trades. So we showcase all those things. We've actually got the harbor ferries that will be shuttling people to and from and doing short tours. So it's just a fun time.
It really is a fun time, and just some of these pictures. We saw some pictures of the families there, but there's that iconic barge that I'm saying that we saw as part of the race, and it really is. You want to be a part of the community, but you also have people and workers who are ingrained in this community, and that's important as well.
Indeed. This is where we work. This is where we play.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And why did you want to have Ralmax involved in the Brown Cup coverage? Because it's something that's so very prestigious on the calendar, but it's something that aligned with you?
It's prestigious, yeah. We also, and one of the things you see the drone footage here going up the Gorge Waterway, Harbor Ferries actually does a tour up that Gorge Waterway. It's such a jewel in this city, and few people get a chance to see it. In this race, you get a chance to see it, but we promote that as well. The waters in this harbor are absolutely beautiful. You really get a new appreciation for this city when you see it from the water.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so we are 1-1 so far. Have you done any rowing before? Because I certainly haven't.
Not a rower, I'm a paddler.
It's very impressive to watch that as someone who has it, right? Like they're digging deep, they're getting in there.
It's incredible. I mean, the effort, the teamwork, everybody's in sync, and when you're in sync, that's when you win.
That is right.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, Gary, thank you very much for what you do. Thank you for your sponsorship in this coverage because it is so very important. And any final thoughts? We're 1-1. What do you think we're going to have as a final tally?
Oh, go Victoria. Go you, Vic.
That's the right answer there. I like it. As far as Gary, it's going to be a 3-1 finish here. Again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for what you do. And you know, a lot happens when you're out there on the rowing course, but you need those umpires. We've alluded to them several times already today, but those umpires are so very important, and sometimes they need a voice as well. So we chatted with the umpires. Have a listen.
It's spelled right out there in the rule book, safety and fairness. And we try to give the athletes a really professional race experience. The winner should be unquestionably the winner, even if it's by a bow ball. And we're always watching out for any possible infraction, like one crew interfering with another crew, that sort of thing, coming down the race course. And you'll see it here, possibly more so than in a normal straight line sprint race. For most of the athletes, this may well be the pinnacle of their racing careers. This could be the race that they have to carry forward and relive vicariously for their decades from now. And that rubs off on the umpires as well. I could say I'm making up for misspent youth, giving back to society, but I am retired. I've tried a number of volunteer options. This is the one that's the most enjoyable to me, and rowing was good for my kids. And that was a long time ago when they rowed in high school, 25 years. And, well, I'm just giving back.
Love it. How many more years do you think you're going to do?
Depends who you ask. 2, 5, who knows?
All right, so we've heard from the COO of Rawmax, we've heard from the umpires, and we got to hear from these guys because you don't have Adam Creek and Ben Rutledge on your broadcast and not pick their brain a little bit about rowing. So thank you guys for, one, joining us today. But it took 8 minutes into the first race for you to get bragging rights, right? To say that you've had taken part in 2 Brown Cups and won 2 Brown Cups. You've taken part in 4, 1, 2, but the 2 you won.
We're against Ben.
Okay. But let's talk about today and just how fun it is and how great it is.
Well, it's great to be back here, and like the captains were saying before the reserve race, is you're competing against your competitors, but you're also friends, and I think that's a great legacy of the piece. And when you look at the reserve races, you're looking into the future of the sport. A lot of these athletes in the reserve race, you'll see them in the varsity race the following year, and with the varsity race coming up, I think that's we're really excited to see the top athletes in both programs. And so as we look back on our history, we only had varsity races back in the time that I was racing, and you as well. And so it's great to see how this race is growing and becoming a stronger and more anchored part of our community. And the goal is to continue to tell the story of this race, tell the story of the athletes and everything that it gives to the community.
Yeah, and that's so eloquently said, and sort of what Gary was alluding to as well. Like, we need to keep ramping this up and make this into the event it is. And Ben, I mean, for you, it must bring back some cool memories, but it also must be fun to watch some of the young guys and girls taking part as well.
100%. And like to see the emotion on their face when they cross the line, or even the devastation on their face, right? That's hunger for next year, and that's the university experience. And you had the chance for redemption. Adam and I had a chance for redemption in the Olympics. It pulls you together for a period of time, and you learn about who you are as an individual. And rowing is, yes, about speed and oars and boats and winning, but it's also about finding out who you are and bringing people together.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, we got Alex Staff here as well. No? Lufaro, come on over. Tell me. Okay, so I was given an idea of who is, but tell us who you are, and you're a UVic alumni, correct?
Yeah, I just I finished my 5th year here at UVic, and yeah, rowed on the squad for 4 years. I rowed in the Campbell Down Cup last year, and then finished graduating this year.
Oh, nice. Well, congratulations. What are you graduating in?
Physical and health education.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk about then this race and this race day, because it is so much fun to be a part of. What's it for you?
Well, racing it last year was like a really special moment, and I think we talk a lot about moments on our team, and it's just, as an athlete, you just try to soak it all in, and like there's a lot of distractions, but because there's all the family, all the friends around, everybody's coming around to come watch you, but you just try and just enjoy every stroke, no matter how painful it is. And then also being on the other side of it now too, just watching the guys put their heart and souls. I know how hard those guys have worked, and it's just, win or lose, it's awesome to watch them go down. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
That's so very cool. And I mean, Adam and Ben, they raced in it before. I mean, you've certainly, I'm sure, grew up watching these guys race as well, and now to see them do it, but now to watch the next generation, it's in good hands, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, we haven't, as UVic, we haven't won in the last couple of years, but
we noticed. Come on.
Knowing seeing where I'm leaving the program, and the guys that are gonna come, that are here now, and are the young guys that are growing the program. I think it's in really good hands, and I'm so excited to just come back here and come visit and come watch the guys, because it's in good hands.
It's in very good hands. Well, thank you for jumping on the show here. Really last minute, but we appreciate it. Congratulations on all your success on the water, and best of luck in your career. Okay, we've got much more still ahead, including the men's. I'm so short when I'm down here. Here we go. The men's and women's races. I feel like a grown-up again. Coming up for the annual Brown Cup. That's coming up in just moments. You are watching coverage on CHEK. Stay with us.
ComSense cabinets. High-quality, custom cabinets for any room in your home. Constructed with high-quality plywood and dado joints to last a lifetime. We design, manufacture, and install ourselves, serving Nanaimo, Duncan, Victoria, and now Port Alberni.
On Vancouver Island, weather shapes everything we build. That's why resorts across BC are switching to insulated log structures. Warm, quiet, and designed for true four-season comfort without maintenance headaches. From First Nations communities to provincial parks, insulated log yurts are proving themselves year-round across Canada. Designed on Vancouver Island, built for BC weather. One of a kind. A better stay starts here.
Still waiting to figure this out? End the waiting game. Felix connects you with a doctor online, so you can get a weight loss treatment plan that's right for you. Get started for free at felix.ca. Felix, we'll see you now.
I'm Sean Magnus, and I am the president and co-owner of Hendra Moving, Storage and Logistics. Something that a lot of people don't think about when they're planning their move is what resources does the moving company have that they've hired to get the job done. At Hendra, whatever job you're trying to do, whether we're moving a grand piano or just a bunch of boxes, we've got the equipment, the fleet, and the team to get the job done.
To this charge, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. Do you have any actual evidence?
Nightmares that will not go away.
I must concern myself with the facts.
I see it, you have no case.
All units, go! Let's go, go, go!
Please stand still!
I'm arresting you on suspicion of possession with intent to supply. Anything you do say may be given as evidence.
See, we'll make a detective of him yet.
These are the facts. Hold on to them.
Law and Order UK, Tuesdays at 8 on CHEK.
Well, the sun is shining, the stage is set. It is race day on the Gorge Waterway. Hello and welcome to special coverage of the prestigious Brown Cup Regatta, a showdown between UVic and UBC, 3.5K along the Gorge Waterway. It is stunning, it is awesome. It's a whole lot of fun. My name is Paul Haysom. I'm from CHEK, and yes, I'm not really this tall. I'm just standing next to two actual giants, Adam Creek and Ben Rutledge. They are both gold medalists for Canada as teammates, but they were adversaries when they battled in the Brown Cup. Adam Creek, Ben Rutledge. Ben, what do you remember about the good old days racing in the Brown Cup?
Oh, I had some tough races against Adam, and he pulled out a couple of victories, but it's the camaraderie that pulled us all back together, and we can sit here today and yeah, bring in some good stories and celebrate the victories and losses of the crews of this year.
You also have a gold medal to share together, which is pretty dang cool, I'd say.
Well, it is a gold medal, but it's not about the medals, but it's about the metal, the hard work that you put in together, and the guys that you medal alongside in the crews. So that's what it's more about. It's really the friendships that come out of the effort together, and that's what we're seeing the crews today. You're going to see the crews bond today, and you're going to see there's some friendships and rivalries between the two schools, and that's what it's all about.
I just wish my step stool was made of metal. That would have been nice, and I could be even taller. That'd be great. We're getting some great shots here. I just want to say thanks to our Roll Focus team. 6 cameras. We've got the amazing drone camera from Dan Batchelor there. We're going to have you covered all the way along this 3.5K route, but let's take a look back at that route and just talk about it right from the get-go. So it all gets going at the Gorge Point Beach, right near Tillicum Narrows. Right there, it's a big push, 1,300 meters to Selkirk Trestle, then a 600-meter push to the Bay Street Bridge, 850-meter to the Johnson Street Bridge, then it's that 750-meter sprint to the finish line in the Inner Harbour, and it really does test that mental and physical fortitude, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. You've got to get off the start and set into a good rhythm. A lot is resting on the coxswain for steering a good course. Yeah. Weather will play a part. This is an open waterway, so boats, float planes, as we saw in the women's reserve race, that the weight came off of that. That's going to play a part, and it's really about the mental resolve, the adaptability of the athletes to deal with the unpredictable, because that's what makes champions, the ability to deal with uncertain consequences.
It was actually really quite unique because that last women's reserve race was so tight. They weren't entirely sure who had won, so just a few moments ago, they actually came here to the dock at our location right by the Selkirk Trestle. You could hear the hooting and hollering and cheering like, we did it, we won. So that's how close it can be, even after 3.5K. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for the men's varsity race that is about to get going here, just minutes away. And what would you remember about this moment, this tail of the tape?
Oh, well, you get to look at the other crew in the face, and it's like almost like a bit of a boxing match or something, but you don't get to say anything, which is kind of this strange stare down. So, but
it's like a weigh-in then.
But you get to look into their eyes, and you get to see if they're confident or not. And because in rowing, you don't really get to see your competitor. You're either looking at the back of their head or you're looking at the back of the boat. So this is a very unique feature of the Canadian Brown Cup race here. Everyone's going to watch and see if that coin falls into the deck, but they pick it up.
Which has happened, I'm sure, many a time.
You get to see as well what the strength of the crew, because sometimes they pick the side of the course that you don't expect. There's some early advantage choices, and that's the Esquimalt side, and that's what UBC chose here. And we're going to see if that's going to work out for them.
It's interesting you say that. I mean, we've seen UVic win on their side, the Victoria side. We've seen UBC win on the Esquimalt side. So it really is just a matter of which side you pick, which side your team is comfortable with. And we're going to hear from the captains, and we are just moments away from the varsity race of the Brown Cup.
It means a lot. I mean, there's a lot of history, like I said, in the event, and it's like 4 months leading up to it of just kind of training through the winter, kind of through the conditions. It means a lot. There's a lot of history behind it, so everyone wants to be here. Everybody wants to win.
I think what's really special about this race is you have two of the biggest programs in Canada. So to be able to have those two biggest programs with some of the most depth in Canada, both on the West Coast, and able to train all winter and then race each other, it's pretty special.
I'm sure the guys in that boat are great, but at the end of the day, it's who wants to win more, right? And it's a great showcase of kind of where each other's programs are at and kind of like how we stack up against each other. So in terms of the rivalry, it's great, but at the end of the day, who wants it more?
I think it's really interesting, and it's something that's really special about sport in general. There's a lot of these guys that I've rowed with in the summer, and then you go back to your school, and then you've gone from being crewmates to racing against each other. And I think it's a really cool opportunity because you get to see your friends out there, but you also want to be faster than them, and there's that bit of competitiveness, and you just get the opportunity to push each other, which is really exciting.
The race isn't won on the day of, it's won in the months leading ahead of that, and I think that, we've done a really good job of just making sure we're staying on winning each practice and kind of having that dictate our result. So
we owe it to the rest of university rowing in Canada to show just how high that standard can be pushed. And also, we just kind of keep in mind that probably the other guys don't want to come and have that same result. So we know they're going to be lighting a fire under our butts, and we try and use that as motivation.
So let's take a look at that starting line, because it is 3.5K down the Gorge Waterway. It all starts at Gorge Point Beach at Tillicum Narrows there. It is so much fun, and we are just moments away from the men's varsity race. What do you guys know about these teams? Because they're two very, very strong squads.
Well, the UBC team is coming off a great weekend. The weekend a couple weeks ago at Elk Lake Spring Sprints. A couple of the guys in the crew beat the national rowing team in the pairs. They've also got a member of the senior men's national team in the 8. So UBC team got some pedigree and also have some wins in the from the previous seasons as well.
And UVic has some real strong players as well.
Oh, they'd have some very strong players. Giancarlo is one of the most decorated rowers in Canadian University at the moment. He was named Rowing Canada U23 Male Athlete of the Year and Rowing Athlete of the Year for BC. Last season, he won gold in the lightweight single plus bronze in the lightweight double at the CURCs. We've also got a monster, a guy by the name of Daniel Malecki, whose first full 2K water race in Poznan Podum in 2025. He raced the U23 8 and won, but the real monster comes from the erg scores, a 5:52 2K and an 18:54 on the 6K. Those are really big scores for an athlete.
It looks like we've got a lineup and they're off. So
and we are off here for the men's varsity race of the Brown Cup, the third of 4 races on the day, and both teams getting out to a pretty strong start there, guys.
Yeah, it looks like UBC might have a marginal lead here, but a wide gap between the crews, so they're going to want to try to get close together. Each crew is going to want to feel and react off each other, so you can see them steering towards each other and getting their line.
Yeah, as the day progresses, the current gets slower and slower, so there's less advantage from the current. And as you can see with the blade work, it's a lot cleaner in the varsity crews. They're coming in and out together. We're watching them rock together, and they're starting to find that race rhythm already.
Yeah, they really are, and I'm noticing a sense of calm on their face there. They're not getting overexerted, which I think is something that only comes with becoming a veteran in this sport a little bit, right?
Yeah, and you got to stay within that rhythm. We chatted about it earlier in the race that you want to get into that rhythm fairly soon, but it is a drag race at the same time. It's the balance of these longer races. How do you get a high rhythm that you can maintain for 3.5 kilometers? Now, UBC looking fairly strong and tight as well. They've also got a big erg score in the middle of the boat, 5:49 for, let's see his name here shortly, but they've got that early lead and it's working.
Yeah, UBC getting the lead and UVic trying to make sure that they can maintain contact, make sure that they're still going to be in the game as the race progresses. UBC coming off the CURCs as the champions, and which is the Canadian University Rowing Championships. UVic was in 3rd place, so they do have some making up to do if they're hoping to catch UBC this race.
Yeah, and it's a strong start for UBC. It was a strong start for UBC last year, but they just got too far away for UVic to bring them back in. So it's important they don't lose them too much this early on, just the first 1,300 meters to the Selkirk Trestle.
Yeah, you can see UVic still maintaining contact. UBC is starting, UVic's got a bit of an advantage with this corner.
Leading that turn.
UBC staying close, and they want to almost do their best to throw some dirty water onto them as they make this corner. And the umpires are there to keep it fair and safe, but this is the excitement of a dual race. You can push the other crew a little bit. There's no buoys, so you just pick your line, and if the other crew steers into you, you hold your line, and if you're in front, you've got the advantage.
Well, there's been a lot of thought and care put into the course that these two crews race. We've created something called the Golden Line. Because of the currents, because of the winds, because of the curves, each crew has different advantages depending if they pick the Esquimalt side or the Victoria side. But we've picked a line for this race so it's as fair a contest as possible. So what we're seeing right now is each crew has to take advantage of their advantages when they show up and make sure that when they're disadvantaged, that doesn't let them fall too far behind.
We've hit the 3-minute mark of the men's varsity race in the Brown Cup. Just for context, last year they finished in about 10.5 minutes, but they are just getting so close to the Selkirk Trestle. Can you feel the energy building? You're going to hear a loud pop and a cheer as these guys need it right now. They're at the start of a very long race, guys.
Yeah, their athletes know now that their coaches are also watching, and their coaches are watching from the Gorge, and they're going to want to put it together. Mike Pierce and Albert Van Scorhorst, and they've been training these guys for years in some cases. They've been starting it great in their first year, and they've gone up from the reserve team, and now they're in the varsity boat. So this is the premier row here, and for some of these guys, this might be their last row. So here we go, coming around the corner here, and UBC in the lead. This is a tricky moment for UVic. They're going to have to really fight hard because UBC is going to get an advantage coming up.
Yeah, we are at our broadcast location. I can turn around and actually see the rowers here coming by here, and they are flying, but it does look like UBC has about not a full boat length at this point, but they're definitely in the lead here.
Well, UBC is pushing to break that open water, and when you break open water, as Ben said in the reserves race, you're breaking an elastic. It feels like it's a lot of work to get out in front, but if UBC gets that extra bit of lead, they can send their wake, they can send their blade wash onto the crew behind, and that gives them extra advantage that they can walk away from.
Yeah, UVic's still holding a good rhythm though. You can watch their blades, and they're not rowing in their puddles, and what that means is they're not putting their blades in the water. The stroke seats puddle from the bow, and it's clean water, so they're still rowing in clean water. They're going to feel that and still know that they've got an advantage coming up. So let's see if UVic can keep on the pulse here.
And what we saw there, the coxswain raising their hand just to the umpire to say understood, I heard you. Would that just be a warning in that scenario of just make sure that you're staying on your line?
Yep, exactly. And the coxswains have they can speak to all the crew with a microphone, but the umpire, they just have their hand, and it's kind of a unique feature here. So they just have to guide, and sometimes it takes a while for these crews to make adjustments. The coxswain, you can see him steering with his right hand. He's got a little cord that's attached to the rudder down below, and if he moves his fingers like a centimeter, there, just as you saw him move, the whole boat's going to move, but it only moves after maybe the second or third stroke. So it's a real skill for these coxswains to know how to navigate this course and when to turn that rope.
Yeah, it's a real coxswain's race as well. You know, Oscar for UBC and Sasha for UVic. You know, this is the epitome for what a coxswain would train for, to have a good line, to motivate the crew, to make sure that you're communicating with the umpires. There's a lot for a coxswain to think about, and some people think that they're not, they're not an athlete, but they certainly are an athlete, and an athlete with their minds, with their voices, and they have to show up just as strong as all the other rowers do in the boat.
And for Oscar, he's in his third Brown Cup appearance right now. He's won the last 2 years, so he's certainly a veteran, and he is a key piece to this right now as we are at the 6:20 mark of the men's varsity race. UBC looking very strong. I wouldn't put UVic out of this though. They're still holding on. They're keeping powerful strokes, and they're keeping this race. And there we go. They've got hometown support as well.
Yeah, when you've got your hometown crowd, and anything can happen. It's also a very fair race course, and some people might think that this is a UVic advantage because this is obviously where they live and go to school, but they don't get out here very much. It's quite a bit to move the boats, get everything rigged up, so this is a very neutral course, so both crews not having a lot of experience and are kind of taking what comes at them here today.
And as you can see, the crews going by the Ralmax barges and the United Engineering Limited. Ralmax, thank you, one of our key sponsors for the event. Ralmax believes in the power of working people, and there's no athletes that work harder than rowers, so it's a perfect mix.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven, and right now it's a matchup that UBC is pulling away from as they edge closer and closer to the Johnson Street Bridge. Once they get under that, the final 750-meter dash to the finish line, but I mean, you're almost a full K still to go there, so there's still race to go, but it seems that UBC is pulling away.
Yeah, it looks like UBC has a very solid lead, and it's UBC's race to lose at this moment. So they're either going to hold on and drive it to the finish, or it's their mistake that will lose the race.
As we've said, though, I mean, part of this is year over year. It's building that dynasty, and it's also breaking the dynasty. And myself, we lost. I was part of the losing dynasty. We had almost 13 losses in a row.
You did win 2, though.
But I came. It took from me coming back from the Olympic Games to come back to UBC to get the first win for UBC in 2006.
2006.
And it started in 1993.
First win ever.
First win ever. So, and here I am. I brought my family out. I've got my dog, my kids have been coming in the background here. But this is a family event now. Like to overcome some of these obstacles and challenges, a big part of people's lives, and that's the beauty of the Brown Cup. You know, it might not be your year, but like it might be one of 4 years, or maybe someone that wins in years in advance. You're a part of the tradition of this, and everybody's here to celebrate.
That's really well said, and really cool to think that, you know, it's got to start somewhere. In 06 you started, and now, I mean, we're at the men's side. UVic has dominated, but it's 20-12 all time, so it looks like it's going to be 2013 as it comes.
I think it might be 15. I think it's 14.
Is it 14? That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, 20-14, 15th coming. So they're only going to be 5 back, and it looks to me that UBC is sort of running away with this one now as we go down to the final strokes here. But my goodness, just the exertion that they must be feeling as they've been going and going. But it's looking to me like UBC is going to come out on top in this race.
Yeah, as they come through, the water's a little bit messier here on the Outer Harbour, and it was a big change. You know, back in our day when Ben and I would race, we'd finish at the Johnson Street Bridge, but we've gotten support from the Harbour Authority to have the races end right in the Inner Harbour with a lot of the iconic buildings of Victoria, seeing these beautiful float planes from Harbour Air. It really makes the race something special to finish with the architecture of the city in the background.
Here comes UBC crossing the finish line. Mike Pierce, the coach, said these guys, what they had to do was stick in their boat, stick to their rhythm, not look out of the boat, and stay focused. And looks like that's what they've done here today. UBC, champions of the Brown Cup.
Yes. And doing so, I mean, last year it was about 10:35. They did so, and 10:12, I believe, was around the time they crossed the finish line. Pretty an amazing race there, and strong. They just held steady that whole way, Ben, didn't they?
Yeah, no, you can see it. It looked a little like UVic had a good start there, but they got into that rhythm we chatted about. And once you get into that and you start chunking away, taking away inches, you just keep believing. And belief grows. And it looks like UBC's done that here today.
Well, that's the challenge of Canada's premier dueling head race, right? This course will ask you more questions than a straight 6-lane course ever could. There's a lot more doubt, there's a lot more change, there's a lot more variability, and certainly the honor goes to the champions, but the honor goes to all the competitors as well.
Yeah. Eat your heart out, Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, Yale. We got our own boat race here, and it is a good boat race to say the least. UBC picking up the win. They are your 2026 Brown Cup champion in the men's side, but we still have the women's race to come. If you're counting at home, UBC 2, UVic 1, but it all comes down to one final race coming up next. Stay with us.
Asbestos is a mineral found throughout the world. Over the last century, asbestos was used in over 2,500 everyday products. Many of those were construction materials. Renovating your home or business can disturb lethal dust, lifting it into the air where it can be inhaled or ingested. The Electrical Workers Union on Vancouver Island would ask you to use caution when renovating and rely on professional certified trades to assess and abate the asbestos in your home or business, so your family and ours can all stay healthy and safe.
The Galaxy Motors legendary push-puller drag event is back for the 13th year, and it's bigger and better than ever. Bring in your vehicle in any condition, running or not, and you'll get a minimum $2,026 in trade value. On now until March 31st at all locations.
Congratulations, Ryan. Your new fluffy maple butter glazed donut is an instant classic. People are going to be ordering this forever.
Forever.
Enjoy your donut. Ryan Reynolds, inventor of the maple butter glaze?
Pretty good, huh?
So you digitally preserved your conscience just so you could eternally brag?
No. Yes. It's here now and probably forever. My maple butter glazed donut only at Tim's.
Discover the breakthrough innovation from Eucerin. New Epicelline Serum. With age clock technology that moisturizes to target the look of 10 signs of aging. Look younger than your age in 4 weeks. Discover the new Eucerin Hyaluron Filler.
Lansdowne Appliance Gallery invites you to ask the experts about our line of Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove.
I'll show you how the Sub-Zero precise temperature and humidity control will allow your food to last longer.
I'll show you how to cook to perfection with a simple push of a button.
I'll demonstrate how this Cove dishwasher ensures spotless results and a near silent operation.
Over 30 years of product knowledge, service, delivery, and installation at Lansdowne Appliance Gallery.
We earn a living by making people laugh, but touring Canada in winter
was no joke. Sometimes just getting there in one piece is half the battle. This isn't just a tour, it's an adventure. Follow us as we explore 5 unforgettable stops on this wild ride. And at the end of the road, we're shooting our biggest TV special yet.
Watch Snowed In Comedy Tour, Saturdays at 9 p.m. on CHEK and CHEK Plus.
Welcome back to our special Brown Cup coverage, and a big thank you to all our supporters and sponsors for making this possible. Greater Victoria Tourism, St. Michael's University School, Gorge Narrows Rowing, a lot there. Swan's Pub, where I'm sure a lot of these guys will be going after the race to make sure to celebrate, or at least just celebrate the end of the season. Old Dutch, Powerade, and Islands West. Thank you very much, and a big thank you to Rawmax as well for being our support. Welcome back to our special coverage, and if you're just joining us, you've been watching an amazing day of racing. So far, UBC have won 2 of the races. The UVic women's crew, reserve crew, picking up the lone victory like they did last year, hoping that the women's varsity team can follow suit for UVic. My name is Paul Haysom, joined by Adam Creek, and we are watching here. Are you really enjoying this so far? I'm interested in what you've noticed thus far, Adam.
Well, it's interesting. We're watching a UBC crew row back into the dock. You know, they'll be physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, but they'll have that feeling of victory, knowing that they've done well. It's great to come back to the Gorge because it's such a beautiful and unique waterway. And like Ben has said a number of times before, neither the UBC nor the UVic crew spend much time on this waterway. So it's a real special event that highlights a lot of the best of Victoria and downtown Victoria. Yeah,
and Ben Rutledge also joining us on the coverage. Ben, what's jumped out to you so far?
Yeah, I've just liked how close some of the early reserve races are. Usually that's where some of the depth starts to be a little bit bigger difference in depth, but those have been some of the tightest races, and just to know that is there for them to chew on and be a part of this race into the coming years is only going to elevate the prestige of this event, as well as excitement for those athletes coming around next year, knowing that they've got something to shoot for, and it wasn't just a big blowout. And you know what, like when we started this 25 years ago, when we were doing some of these races, like there was some big, it was like a parade sometimes, and like I was a part of that. So to see the standard grow and grow every single year is just a testament to the coaching staff, testament to the athletes, testament to the university programs, and really exciting to see how far these programs have come along. But it looks like we're at the starting line here. So maybe a quick highlight here for the UBC. They've been 3 times straight winners here, and UVic's we want to come after that. 5 members of this UBC crew are going to be graduating, so it's their last and fast race. I was chatting their head coach Craig Pond before the race, and they're wanting also a little bit of a redemption for the reserve crew that lost by a deck, or a third of a length at the end of the race. So these UBC women are ready. That's led by stroke pair of Gabby Warbeck and Gabby Uremia. Each rode at the university for the past 5 years in this experience, so will lead the UBC crew. This will be Gabby's.
Here we've got fifth wheeler coxswain Sophie Hoff walking out, and she's actually an alumni of the Gorge Narrows Rowing Club. So she grew up rowing on these waters, so she will have the home course advantage in the back of her mind. But the UVic crew is young. 5 athletes of the UVic crew have not actually rowed the Brown Cup before. So whereas UBC is old grizzled veterans, we've got young newbies coming on on the scene.
All right, just before we get to the race, let's hear from the captains.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about this race that make it unique. One of the big ones being the big turns in the course. It's unlike most regattas in the sense that we're side by side taking those turns, so the momentum is going to shift if you're on the inside line, the outside line, which is like really unique and part of what makes this race so exciting.
I think the Brown Cup course is like one of the most interesting courses, and I love coming down to the Gorge because there are so many things to think about, and there's kayakers that come out there, there's hot tub boats, but then there's also the bridges and the people on the bridges, that sound, it gets really overwhelming. So keeping your crew internal.
It's definitely one of our closest competitions. It's just the rivalry is so there, and in my 5 years on the team, I've just seen like how the programs have pushed each other and like how UVic has pushed us to be stronger, and I know it's gone vice versa, and I think you just kind of see that on the course. Like, we're friends outside of the boat, and then you kind of see that competitive fierceness kind of come out on the water. So yeah.
For me, putting on that crest and wearing that crest racing, it like reminds me of every girl that's come before me and every rower that's come before and raced this race, and how much it means to this program, and how much like history is behind every stroke.
Yeah, as someone who's been the underdog coming into this race, I know that you can't let it slip even for a second, and I don't doubt for a second that any of these girls have. It's go, go, go from CUs till now.
Our JVs last year did win, so just giving them a little shout out there. But I think that that's really fueling us this year. We want it so bad, and we have a lot of graduating athletes in the program this year who just want it, and we want to get that double sweep so much.
All right, they're calling for the double sweep, and we are underway in our final race of the day, the women's varsity race. It's tough to see from our high side, but there you can see the faces of all the competitors, and they're off. What do you see in early, guys?
Looks like we've got UBC out to a slight lead, and they've got the Esquimalt side. It looks like it's been extended even already. So again, the Esquimalt side taking a bit of a lead, but as we know, that Victoria side has come through later in the race.
It really has, and as of right now, every single, I guess, both UBC, all the crews, all UVic crews have decided to stay on their one side. So we'll see if it pays off for the UVic Vikes who made that decision. And there you're seeing the rosters. You mentioned a young roster there for UVic.
Yeah, young roster for UVic. 5 of these athletes have not raced this race before. The coxswain cut her chops here on the Gorge Waterway. Yeah, and the Gorge itself is not just a race course, it's one of the oldest human waterways in this region, with the Songhees and Esquimalt connection stretching back more than 4,000 years. So there's a lot of history here that these ladies are racing through.
We've got a real coxswain tradition pass off maybe too of UBC. The opposite, you've got a 5th-year coxswain, Izzy Howley, and might be giving a bit of a lesson here to UVic, taking an early lead and pushing them a bit wide.
Yeah, Izzy's also getting her master's in Sauder School of Business right now, so pretty busy right now, but right now it's all focused on this race, and we are just getting close to the 3-minute mark. Of course, the first thing they'll hit is the Selkirk trestle, but it is important to establish some rhythm, some routine, and also try and establish a bit of a lead early.
Yeah, we want to have rhythm throughout the core of this race. This race is longer, especially for the women. It's around 11 or 12 minutes, so it's a very aerobic challenge. So they need to have the ability to turn oxygen into energy in their bodies, and by establishing a good rhythm, you can harness the aerobic energy in the aerobic energy system.
Yeah, it looks like UBC's got a little higher stroke rate too, and sometimes each crew will take their own different approach to this. A higher stroke rate means strokes per minute. Doesn't always mean you're going faster. It's just a different rhythm, and you might have a different gearing. You might have a lighter rig on the boat. The riggers are a bit closer to the hull, and you can turn over a bit faster. And for sometimes different crews, that allows you to just maintain a nice even pace as opposed to a more heavier load each stroke, which maybe with a little lower stroke rate on the UVic side.
Each of these bridges are a target for the crews. The crews will keep the bridges in the back of their mind. They'll hear from their coxswains, we're going through the trestle, we're going through the Bay Street Bridge, we're going to the Johnson Street Bridge, and you can see there's still overlap, you can see there's still contact, and it's still anybody's race. It's a really tight race here in the women's on the women's side.
Izzy Howley did a great job of pushing UVic a little bit wide. She had lots of room on the inside corner, so what that allows her to do is to push them even further wide, and she gets to choose when to turn. And when you get to choose, it's just like an F1 race where you get to start after the pace car, and you get to choose when to go, and you get to that extra couple strokes and leave them guessing. As we saw, when you turn the rudder on the boat, it takes 2 or 3 strokes to return, and you could be 3 or 4 boat lengths wide and going a foot a stroke lower. So great job on UBC coxswain steering there.
It's a big push right now to the Bay Street Bridge. You can see both teams. You can see it in their faces, just really digging deep and digging right to every piece of energy they have. But right now, UBC has a very small lead, but UVic still very much keeping them in their sights. What are you watching right now? What are you seeing?
Well, I'm looking to see that the boats are still in contact, and as we see, the workload on the faces of these women, they're pushing hard. This is the last race of the season. They've pumped themselves up for this race. We heard in the commentary beforehand, these athletes love to compete against each other. This is one of the top rivalries that exists in the nation, if not the top rivalry. The two top rowing schools often in the nation, UBC, UVic. So they will be pushing as hard as they can and leaving everything on this race course.
Yeah, and they certainly are leaving everything out there. Paul Haysom here, along with Adam Creek and Ben Rutledge. Thank you for joining us here on CHEK, presented by Rolmax. And it looks to me like UBC still trying to pull away just a little bit more, but UVic, it's going to be important for them to really keep UBC in their sights there, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're going to be trying to listen to what athletes are doing. If you can't see them, you're going to try and listen for the other crew, hear the crew, right? And the other coxswain's got a speaker in the boat, so it's all still all in contact here. But this is a pivotal moment for UVic, because if we start breaking that elastic, as we said earlier, it's going to be really hard to come back. UBC making a hard turn here, so we might see the umpires maybe making a comment if they're going to be impeding, because they don't have full open water yet, and if you're impeding, you could be penalized. So you can see the umpires pulling up beside UVic and maybe really checking to check and make sure that UBC's not steering into them.
So you can see the Bay Street split there, 4.7 seconds at this point. Not insurmountable by any stretch, but certainly a big lead there for UBC. But we are really into the meat of this race now, and this is where things really start to ramp up, because you're getting close to that open water that you've been talking about, and those currents are playing such a role as well, Adam.
Well, once you get into this open bay, the wind starts pushing the boats around, and so the more technical the crew is, the better that they can put their blades and grab onto the water, the better speed that they will get. So a weaker crew technically will suffer more in this open part of the race. That's much less than they would in the narrow part leading into the trestle.
Okay, UVic here, knowing they're on the inside corner, they're going to be might struggle to get around the corner. I don't know, Adam, what do you think? Would you ever pull in behind UBC here at this point?
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I would do that, because steering kind of slows down the boat. You would just want to steer the straightest line. That would be my tactic if I was giving advice. I would say, find that straight line, find your own personal golden line, and start bringing it on, because this is the time when UVic, it's not looking good for them. That open water is looking like almost an insurmountable chasm. Who knows? Anything can happen in sport, but at this point in time, I might be calling it for UBC.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, they are digging deep. We are 8 minutes on the nose into this race. Still a little ways to go yet as they make their way towards the Johnson Street Bridge. You can see it's iconic. It is there, and it is lined with people trying to cheer on both the UBC team and the UVic team as we are getting down to the final stretch here, the final race of the Brown Cup, and UBC trying to make it 3-1 on the day, an actual repeat of last year as well.
Well, let's talk about the history of the race and all the organization that goes in. Ben and I were talking about with the head coaches, with Mike, with Albert, and there's an organizing committee that needs volunteers to help keep this race going. Canada's premier dueling head race, and if you're interested in helping out, supporting, raising the level of this race, helping organize it, please reach out to Albert or Mike and let the organizing committee know that you're interested in supporting this effort.
And that is that shot you can see just behind. It's kind of deceiving, because at first you don't see too many people, but there they are on that pedestrian side of the iconic Johnson Street Bridge. And again, UVic really going to have to make up some ground here as we get down to the final 750 meters of this women's varsity race. What are you seeing? What are you liking, Ben?
Yeah, UBC is obviously taking a strong lead, and the wind is going to affect them, but I think they're going to be thinking, we've got this. A seaplane might only be the thing to stop them, but you know what? UVic's fought hard here, and they've tried to stay in early in the game, and might have a bit of a different battle. And great steering by UBC's Coxon early to force some advantages their way. So we'll see if they can come back. But looks like UBC is still staying strong, battling a bit of the wind. You can see their hair blowing, but everybody's a little frustrated here in the UVic boat, leaning outside the boat. Not quite in unison anymore, so
Right.
this is a tricky position for them to be. But you can see there's some calm water up ahead, and who knows what might be able to pull forward.
I'm interested, though. You don't want to, obviously celebrate too early. You say, we got this. How's it important mentally not to say, I've won, but also from UVic's side, not to say, we've already lost this. You got to keep digging, and it's right till the finish line, right?
Well, it's different mentality because you need to get what you want out of the race. And one of the aspects that each athlete wants to get out of the race is to push themselves to their absolute maximum. So it's not just a race against the other, it's a race against the self. So a good coxswain and a good coach will set them up with that psychological orientation. How hard are you going to push? How hard are you going to push together? So when you're ahead, push harder, let's walk away. When you're behind, let's push, leave everything on the course, no regrets, know that you pushed everything and you left everything behind. And that's when I'm looking at these women right here. I think they're leaving everything on this race course. There will be no shame after this race.
And a lot of these girls in the UVic team are going to be back next year, right? So you don't want to give up any strokes. You don't want to show up next year going, we lost by 10 lengths when it could have been 5. And then you know where that standard is for next year of how many strokes you need to build up every day in the erg room, in the fall, and all that time when you're thinking about where it needs to be. But right now, it looks like UBC is...
It is domination here.
Maintaining and final strokes.
From wire to winning the Brown Cup, the UBC women's varsity team are champions again. And what is that feeling like? You've both experienced it as Brown Cup champions. You must just be so tired but so happy all at the same time.
Well, the beauty at the end of the rowing race is that you have no energy to resist your emotions. So if you're excited, the excitement comes out without resistance. And if you're disappointed, the disappointment comes out without any filter.
So
interesting. Ben, how about you?
Yeah, this is a raw moment, and for everybody it's going to be a little bit different, but for those tight-knit teams, you're going to get that exuberance and you're going to get that relief, and there's a whole bunch of things. You see
we got some tears here.
Two-seat.
Amazing.
Trying to just, absorb it. For some of them, this might be their last race. It might be their last rowing race ever, too. Competitive races beyond university for some that aren't going to the national team. This might be their final race, so it's emotional. But that's what makes this Brown Cup special and brings people back to the bridges, and people traveling from across the country, chatting with parents who have flown across the country here from Halifax to watch their sons and daughters race, and this is what is so special about this premier event.
Yeah, it really is special, and what a race day it was. And it was a carbon copy of last year, UBC winning 3 of the 4 races. 2 years ago, UBC won 4 of the 4 races. So it is domination right now by UBC, but UVic definitely there. And it's a good back and forth, and I'm sure it's going to continue to be back and forth as we continue to grow this already prestigious event. Some final thoughts on race day, and Adam, we'll start with you, sir.
Well, Brown Cup 2027 training starts tomorrow.
For me and you, I see.
For everybody, this would be the conversation I would be having as if I was a member of the crew, if I was a coach, and I was standing next to the crews afterwards. I'd say, "Come up, you know what? You raced well. You left it all on the course. I'm proud of you. I saw you working hard, and." Preparation for next year starts tomorrow. What are you going to do? What are you going to put in the quiet times? Because this is the noisy time. This is a time when everybody's watching, when everybody's here. But races aren't won on race day. Races are won in the days, the weeks, the months, the years before race day. And so that's what I'd be having conversations with my crews who came in second.
Came in second, but they did win the women's reserve race. Ben, what about you?
Yeah, I'd say it is about it's about reflection and really looking back and what brings you to the next level. And today we've seen crews who have brought themselves to that next level, who have maybe won, who haven't won before, and the depth of excitement for the next year. And it's a continuum, right? And that's what tradition is. It doesn't stop. So my word is tradition and reflection.
I like that. Okay, well, thank you both for coming on and being part of our broadcast this year. It's been fantastic to have you both along for the ride. As you mentioned, there's been elation, there's been frustration, there's been a lot of perspiration, probably mostly from me, but thank you for all our viewers for watching another incredible installment of the Brown Cup presented by Rolmax here on CHEK and CHEK Plus. For Ben Rutledge, for Adam Creek, and for myself and our role-focused crew, we'll see you next year at the Brown Cup.
Okay, team, let's have a great show.
Rank is reflected in the positions and names.
I'm Sandra Richardson. To help you stay in touch, here's the Victoria Foundation Community Check-In.
Tickets are selling fast for the Shine Gala at the Empress, featuring a fashion show, silent auction, and 3-course meal, with proceeds to the BC Children's Hospital. Peninsula Co-op is bringing a new spring tradition to life at Willows Beach Park with the launch of its first ever Easter Festival. Visit their website for details. Calling all Esquimalt High School grads of 1966, it's time to celebrate 60 years with a luncheon at Gorge Vale Golf Club. Email Margot to register. SD62's Pace Performing Arts Academy presents And the Tony Goes To, a dynamic musical review showcasing an ensemble of talented young performers. The Comox International Film Festival will feature 3 days of local and international cinema, beginning with Robert Bateman's documentary, The Art of Adventure.
That's the Victoria Foundation Community Check-In from your local foundation.
The Government of Canada is bringing down your costs so you can get ahead. We're helping you with an income tax cut, access to dental care, affordable childcare, the new Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit, and tax savings on your first home. Learn about these and other ways to help you get ahead at canada.ca/gettingahead.
How do you measure a country? By those who build it. For 60 years, the measure of F-Series hasn't been the trucks. It's been the people who depend on them. Until March 31st, get 0% APR on this F-150.
Take your comfort to new heights with Mountain Peak Heating and Cooling. With professional heat pump installs, dependable service, and in-house design, we are local experts keeping you comfortable through every season. Your home deserves comfort that steps above the rest. Mountain Peak Heating and Cooling.
Tim's $8.99 meal deal. Get a loaded wrap packed with grains, veggies, and seasoned chicken, plus wedges and a Coke, all for $8.99. A real meal for just $8.99. Now that's a deal. Try it at Tim's for a limited time.
Wow, 5 years of being welcomed into your community. Some people were extra welcome. 5 years of showing off everything local.
Did you ever pay for that, by the way? It's all right-hand turns, all left. All left. Glad we had this talk.
We just wanted to give businesses a boost and bring smiles during a tough time.
You want to get a photo with the upside guy?
No, not really.
Some people smile.
Now, more than ever, you can count on us to always find the upside.
The Upside is brought to you by IBEW Local 230.